The impact site. Last time we played Pikmin 1 and we had good fun. We discovered Pikmin, collected treasure and witnessed explosions. We also encountered a death, which was very unfortunate. We got to discover amazing places. We built bridges and overcame obstacles. I couldn't have done it without my little flowered friends. With the time limit of 30 days, Pikmin 1 can actually be quite challenging. In today's video, we're going to dive into Pikmin 2 and face the horrors that await us. Surely, we won't run into any problems like we did in Pikmin 1, right? Well, today we're going to find out by turning back time and revisiting an amazing gem that I played as a kid. Pikmin 2 starts off like any other game, with the title screen, and then we get a quick rundown of what happened in the last game. The story of Pikmin 2 actually takes part immediately after Pikmin 1. Basically, we return back to our home planet, Hockatate, if it's even said that way, and basically our president informs us that everything is now fucked. The company we work for has amassed a massive crippling debt, and we finally learn of how much that's going to be. Captain Olmar had brought back a souvenir from his latest expedition. In shock from finding out on how much there is left to pay on the debt, he drops it on the floor. At this point, the spaceship absolutely loses its mind and sucks it up. It is then known that all this junk is actually worth money. Instantly, the caring president immediately sends us back to the planet to find more junk to bring it back to settle the debts. We start in the Valley of Repose. Upon entering Earth's atmosphere, it's clearly snowing, and Olmar is speeding. Unfortunately, he hits a tree. This sends Captain Louis absolutely flying out of the spaceship, and then we gracefully land. After the smoothest landing ever, we get shot out of the spaceship, and then we're given stupid tutorial stuff. Thankfully, this is a YouTube video, so you won't have to sit through it like I did. After spamming the A button for far too long, we eventually meet our red Pikmin. We then gain control of Captain Louis in search of the red onion. We of course grow some of the red boys and then meet up with our other captain. The only thing left to do in the tutorial now is to haul this piece of treasure back to the ship and earn some money. With our first day complete, with some Pikmin grown and some treasure collected, we travel back to the starry night sky. We get to see a report on how the day went. I'm sure this won't be awful later on. Day 2 starts, and we start working on building up our army. Soon we had made enough Pikmin to take down a paper bag. We knock down a barrier and take out this big guy. We also get our second piece of treasure. It's at this point we find a cave. Caves are interesting in this game, because the surface isn't big enough to hold all the treasure to pay off the debt. In these caves you're completely isolated. The only way to complete the cave is to keep going through it, deeper and deeper. Some of the worst creatures can be found in these caves, mostly bosses, and some just annoying creatures that are a bit more beefy. Yeah! Thankfully, the first cave we bump into is reasonably easy. It's got a few treasures and really easy enemies to take out. On the final floor, we find half a globe, which is an important piece of treasure, as it allows us to go to another part of the map. As you can see, this globe's going to take 101 Pikmin. You might be thinking, well, how's that possible? You can only use 100 Pikmin. The game introduces purple flowers, which then produce purple Pikmin. Purple Pikmin are notoriously heavy, but also good at lifting heavy weights. It's quite possible that this species of Pikmin love abusing steroids. Either way, these Pikmin make absolute mincemeat of anything heavy. The only downside of being big and strong is that they move ridiculously slow with practically anything. This footage has been sped up by 8 times. Thank God we're not on a time limit. With all the treasures now collected, we could return to the surface. With the cave now being completed, it was now time to finish the day. Because we found half a globe, it unlocked a new area for us to go to, and it might seem a little bit familiar. As we fly over our new area, you may remember it as the Forest of Hope, except from this time it's a little bit different. This small area here is actually where we land in the previous game. We start the day by collecting some berries. These are quite useful. With 10 berries collected, it gets turned into some sort of spicy spray. This is the equivalent to cocaine. After I'd collected enough spicy spray, I began breaking down a barrier. We also find another cave to dive into. This cave is called the Hole of Beasts. I'm sure we're not going to find anything too horrifying down there. The Hole of Beasts is another easy cave to explore. There's easy enemies, decent treasure, and it's not too big. As we dive deeper, we can get some more purple Pikmin, and use the correct elemental Pikmin, unlike the last time I played Pikmin 1. Unfortunately, old habits don't die that quickly, so we did actually set a few Pikmin on fire. Calling them with the whistle extinguishes the fire though, thank God. We collect some more treasure, dive deeper, and grow some more steroid users. After 4 relaxing floors of grabbing treasure and growing Pikmin, we finally reach the final level. We come face to face with the boss.
Holy Jesus! What is that?
And we put him out of his misery. We are then rewarded with a treasure gauge. This will be very helpful later on in the game. Soon we return to the surface and find out we've paid 20% of the debt.
WWE.com and register! I wouldn't want $1 million even smells like!
With the level of morale hitting an all-time high, I decide to actually investigate another cave. You would not believe what we find in this cave. If you guessed treasure, well, you're correct. We also get introduced to white Pikmin. Now, these Pikmin are quite interesting. They're immune to toxic gases, and they have infrared vision to see under the ground so they can dig up treasure that's actually hidden. Soon we eventually meet the final floor. It's on this level we find the burrowing snagret, the snake seagull thing. Just like the first game, he's actually quite easy to take out. He drops the 5-man knapsack, which is just a glove. The next day we return to the Awakening Wood to hunt down some more goodies. Now that we have white Pikmin, we can easily dig up treasure around the map. I also leave them to take out a poisonous wall. A quick inspection of the local area, and we actually stumble across the blue Pikmin. We open up the map a bit more and find the other half of the globe. This will unlock a new area for us. Maybe there'll be some yellow Pikmin there. Oh, hey look, it's them yellow Pikmin. We land in the distant spring, which is just the reskin of the perplexing pool from Pikmin 1. The geography of the map has changed, but it's mostly the same. We collect some dark purple berries. These purple berries will give us the ability, much like Medusa, turning things into stone. Having these abilities is almost like having a get out of jail card. Partway through our relaxing day, we eventually meet our yellow boys. After making some more yellow boys, I decided to end the day, as there wasn't really much else left to do. The next day we decided to delve into the Citadel of Spiders cave, and as you might imagine, there's spiders in there. Well, not only are there spiders, but there's also frogs and fire geysers. There's also a nice big can of pineapple slices. On the final floor, we're greeted by an old friend, that lanky ass spider from Pikmin 1. I should have used the yellow Pikmin for the height advantage when throwing them, but we got the job done with the reds. The spider dropped a key, unlocking the challenge mode. I can't remember if I played this as a child, but I'm sure I'll go back and check it out. With our most recent cave exploration now over, we get a quick little update on how we're going. Returning to the surface, we work on getting some more treasure, collecting some more grapes, and we bump into another cave to explore. With the day coming to a close, we collect a piece of treasure from the surface. This takes us up to a grand total of 4,000 Pokos. We're then told that we've paid 40% of the debt.
WWE.com.
We decide to end the day, and then we get an email from the president asking us to hurry up. I reply to him telling him to shut the fuck up and to mind his own business. We return to the Awakening Wood and knock down that electric barrier and finally find our blue Pikmin. I grow as many as I can with the resources I have. I grew as many as I could, and then I decided to end the day. We get to check out some statistics, and I'm happy to report it's all looking good. We also get an email from my son. What? I have a son? And a wife? You're telling me for 26 days I haven't seen my wife and child, all because of corporate greed and because the president wants to send me to another planet? Will our boy Omar ever make it back to his wife and family? I'm not too sure, but we return to the Valley of Repose. Here we knock down some barriers that are obstructed by water. We also drain the water so we can use other Pikmin in this new area. Just like that one scene from Indiana Jones, I get chased down by a boulder. I also managed to pull off a kill, straight out of an MLG montage from Call of Duty back in the day. My treasure gauge tells me that there's a treasure inside this big fiery thing. I go all Medusa and turn him into stone. Even when he is turned to stone, however, he can still be lit on fire, and it took me a stupid amount of time to lure him into the water to put him out. Even when he did get in the water and his fire was extinguished, he decided to eat loads of my Pikmin. Thankfully he does die and he does drop his treasure, but unfortunately we can't get it back to the ship all in one day. When I return the next day, I find that the treasure isn't where I left it. It turns out it's back inside the fiery beast I spent ages trying to defeat yesterday. With the dreadful day now coming to a close, I use the last remaining few seconds to explore one more cave. From the get-go, the cave went terrible. I was about to attack this big fluffy bulborb when suddenly, a beetle decided to fart on my Pikmin, sending them into a frenzy, and everyone was shitting their pants, and of course, I lose quite a few Pikmin because I'm very disorganised. Soon I get the situation under control, and then I head into the next level. Level 2 started off almost exactly like how level 1 started off, with death. Instantly, upon gaining control of my Pikmin, this guy decides to shoot a big boulder, it tracks all my Pikmin and kills a few of them. Nice. Using the same trick as I used on the surface, I killed this big boulder shooting bastard. This cave really does seem to be the gift that just keeps giving. Surely, nothing else could go horribly wrong, right?
Oh, no.
Instantly, I start getting chased down by this big boy. And he is relentless, he will not stop coming after me. However, force feeding my boys, cocaine, and the power of Medusa, we can easily take this big guy down. We move on to digging up some treasure, and then bump into a walking meme. We go one more level deeper into the cave, and immediately get manhandled by this flying thing. All it does is pick up my captain and just throw them on the floor. Annoying. 2 levels later, I'm back to having a dose of industrial strength bullshit. Captain Louis gets run over by a boulder, and then stunned, and then run over again, and then stunned, and eventually killed off. That means it's down to Captain Ulmer to unfuck the situation. We reach the final level, and immediately start taking out an infinite army of grubs. Thankfully we've seen this enemy before, so we know what we're getting ourselves into. The fight was long and hard, and we experienced quite a few deaths compared to the first time round, but we do get some nice pink shoes. When we return to the surface, we find out we've recovered 60% of the debt.
This a money. Rich, millionaire, hey, rich. Wait, hey, hold on there. Make we see how they look no man. Open door, make we see how they. Bombo clad, rich, millionaire, millionaire. Like bombo clad. Right over there.
Our effort was now paying off. I even got an email from the president thanking me and also telling me not to slack off. We return to the Valley of Repose and immediately jump into a cave. In this cave there is fire, poison, treasure, and quite a lot of bullshit. Bomb rocks appear to be littered all throughout this cave. The boys that shoot the boulders at me also appear in this cave quite frequently. On sub-level 5, it was designed by an absolute arsehole, mainly because bomb rocks just randomly fall from the sky all throughout the level, making it transporting treasure really difficult. Even when you think you've activated all the falling bomb rocks from the sky, there's always one that shows up. If the previous levels weren't stressful enough, level 7 definitely turns it up a notch. We get introduced to one of these creatures. It's got a shield on its face and it shoots things. This guy is so persistent, he is actually willing to actually step over any of the barriers that are in the map and still chase after me and my army of Pikmin. He simply does not care. I couldn't even get a second to take a break or a rest. He decided to pull up and do a sneak attack. Nasty. Knowing that he has the ability to step over walls, I decided to coax him to step over a wall and into the void, which made him die, which made me very pleased. I couldn't kill the other one that was on a very high ledge because he was fixed in place and I couldn't make him walk off the map. But eventually we do kill him and get the treasure that's inside of him. Eventually we do make it to the final level, which is where we meet the man at legs. This creature has a fucking gun. Unfortunately for the man at legs, my army was heavily coked up, which made short work of him. The worst thing that happened in this fight is Omar got a face full of lead. Omar can now breathe through 100 different holes now that they've been created on his face. The man at legs dropped a light bulb, meaning I could see more clearly when I go into caves, so they're not as dark anymore. Returning to the surface, I decided to get my revenge on the big flamey guy that previously robbed me of my treasure. After I collected the treasure, I then realised I had 100%ed this place, meaning there was no reason for me to return, so I ended the day. I return to the Awakening Wood and immediately jump into a cave named the Bolblack's Kingdom. The running theme through this cave would be these orange boys, which are apparently extremely hungry. This cave isn't too difficult in the grand scheme of things, other than falling bomb rocks that make a nice return and scare me every now and then. On the final level, we bump into a familiar face. It's the boss from Pikmin 1. Previously in Pikmin 1, it took me 2 full days to actually defeat this boss. Thankfully in Pikmin 2, we have purple Pikmin at our aid, meaning it can stun the boss so he can't eat my boys, and I can defeat him pretty darn quick. When we return to the surface, we find out that we have now paid 90% of the total debt.
I'm rich. Hey. I'm rich. That is rich. Hey.
Knowing that I just paid 90% of that debt and we were coming close to the end, I decided to take a really nice chilled day and just generate some more Pikmin, collect some more berries, and just chill out in general. The next day we return to the perplexing pool, where we begin working on a bridge, knock down an electric barrier, and drain a pool of water, allowing us to dive into a nice new cave. This cave isn't too difficult. Sure, it's got floating jellyfish that suck up all my Pikmin, poison everywhere, frogs and water, even the big orange boys make a nice return. Things were going well in this cave until I came across this alleyway, which seems to have hidden enemies in every single crevice. This place would turn out to be absolute hell. My first mistake was attacking this spider. He electrocuted 20 of my Pikmin. I then get manhandled by this strange flying creature, which turns out to be one of the most annoying in the game, with absolutely no power whatsoever because I'm halfway in the sky. A nice exploding spider then approaches and explodes, killing many of my Pikmin. Now that my captains have been severely damaged, a frog decides to start jumping in all my Pikmin, hurting them further. Captain Olmar gets thrown on the floor and now he's down for the count, meaning it's all down to Louis. Eventually we do get the situation under control, and we also make it to our final level. The battle against the pink flatfish went well. He doesn't seem to go after Pikmin, it's just my captain he's after, but eventually we do make good progress and end out killing him. He dropped a speaker, which means when I whistle my Pikmin to come back to me, there's a bigger area of effect. When we return to the surface, we find out that we have actually fully paid off the entire debt, which means we must return home. The ship congratulates us on our mission and shows us the president in the night sky with tears of joy. Then we immediately jump on our ship and head back home, saying goodbye to our Pikmin friends. But unfortunately, we've left Louis behind. When we return, we deliver the good news to the president, saying that his company has now been saved thanks to us repaying all the debt. He then instructs us to go back with Louis to find some more treasure. Unfortunately, Louis is not present, which is where the president comes up with a wild idea to join us with the expeditions.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
The president that wouldn't let me go and see my son.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
The president that amassed a 10,000 Poco debt.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
The president that ordered me to hurry up because the loan agent was after him and he couldn't hide no more.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, are you kidding me?
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 I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. I now have to go back, find some more treasure, and recover Louis somehow. This would be easier said than done. We go back to the planet and we arrive at the Wistful Wild. This time I'm accompanied by the president rather than Louis. We also have a shiny gold rocket thanks to my efforts. I begin by opening the map up a little bit, killing any enemies and knocking down barriers that I can get to. After killing many enemies and exploring the map a bit more, I find a little bit of treasure on the surface. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time in the day to get it back to the ship, so for now, I'll have to call my Pikmin so they can drop it and leave it there for tomorrow. At the end of the day, we get an email from the Grandma President. She's shocked that we're on a little treasure hunt. The next day, we dive into a cave called the Cavern of Chaos. Bombs are absolutely littered throughout these levels. You've got the worst enemies, and I had the worst luck throughout the whole thing. The big boy enemies are also featured in here from Pikmin 1. Thankfully though, they're actually quite easy to take out. A few levels later, we arrive on this floor that is absolutely smothered in these red guys. Thankfully, they are so easy to take out, and they generate us quite a bit of money. The shielded fish things that have 2 legs are also present in this level. Thankfully, I decided to cheese them by placing a Pikmin behind a wall so they would endlessly just shoot at it and not me. A few levels later, we finally reached the final level. This is where we find a stupid crab thing that has a massive sweeping arm and is absolutely impenetrable to any damage unless it hits into a wall and rolls on its back. Unfortunately, it's slightly bugged out, meaning it didn't do its full animation, but then it does. It spawns in loads of falling rocks and takes out quite a few members of my team. Nice. We eventually get deep into the fight, and yet again, the falling stones from the ceiling crush quite a few of my Pikmin. I then deliver some sweet revenge and eventually take out this big crab thing that has been destroying my small army of Pikmin. We also get the scariest piece of treasure I've ever seen. Back on the surface, we build a bridge, and then decide to jump into another cave called the Dream Den. This is funny because in this cave there's absolutely nothing that is fucking dreamy whatsoever.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
The next level, we find ourselves in a familiar place. We've actually been to this level before, except from the enemies have changed. It's gone from explosive rocks falling from the sky and just explosions in general, to electricity and rolling boulders that will just flatten my Pikmin. I tried to cheese a few of these guys by making them shoot at each other, making it easier for me to actually transport treasure throughout this map. But unfortunately, I was stupid and I let the president get hit. Thankfully, I had another captain at my disposal, meaning I could use him and some yellow Pikmin to get the treasure back. We then make it to level 8, and this is where it all falls apart. This floor mainly consists of spiders, but they're all elemental. Some shoot fire, some shoot water, some are electrified, and some are poisonous. But mainly, the yellow ones are complete fucking bastards. I quite clearly killed this yellow spider, and for some reason, in its death animation, it decides to electrify loads of my Pikmin, leaving me with only 25 now. Faced with the hard reality of knowing that I'm probably not even halfway through this cave yet, and there's more things to kill, more treasure to collect, and there's probably a boss at the end, so it's not really going to be possible to do it with 25 Pikmin, which means I just quit the game and restarted the whole level. Soon I got back to where I previously was, and I was going to be more careful on this approach. After spending more than half an hour on just this one level, I eventually get to kill almost everything and transport all the treasure in this room back to the ship. On level 10, I'd started running out of steam, mainly because there's water everywhere, this stupid fish thing keeps firing at me, the place is littered by frogs, and a jellyfish that will suck me up. So I said sod it, let's just get the fuck out of here while we still can. In the next level, I didn't even spend 1 minute here, mainly because I got attacked and I was already on low health, so consequently, I died, meaning I'd have to restart again. Getting back to the level, I was on extremely low health, and I've still got a boss fight to do, so I decided to play it safe and just get down to that next level. I had to do exactly the same thing on level 12, because, I mean, look at this. There's fallen rocks, poison everywhere. This is borderline impossible. We reached the final level. Many years ago as a kid, I've been here before. I know this fight's hard. I know it's difficult. I know you have to be very prepared. Jumping straight into the fight, I used the yellow Pikmin to detach the electrical thing that sits on its face. Electricity is definitely the most dangerous form in this game. It can wipe out a full squad of Pikmin in literally a nanosecond. It is the most deadly thing here in this arena. I'd been attacking now for about 15 minutes, only using the 10 yellow Pikmin I had left. Eventually though, the electrical component does fall off. I then decided to employ the rest of my team to help aid the fight. Using the power of Medusa and lots of cocaine, I spiced up my Pikmin, froze the boss, and began attacking. Unfortunately, he wasn't frozen for too long, and when he unfroze, he decided to poison absolutely everything, sending all my Pikmin into a massive frenzy. The poison had a disastrous effect on my team. I was now down to 4. Oh, wait, make that 3. I now had 3 Pikmin to now continue the fight. Knowing full well that this is absolutely fucked now, I decided to leave the game and restart it. Once again I lead with the yellow Pikmin, trying to take out the electrical thing on its face. A short while later, it eventually comes off, and then I can move on with my next piece of the plan. I was going to deliver all-out warfare on this thing, attacking every single piece that's hanging off of it, trying to do as much damage as I can. He used his flamethrower and it absolutely scattered all my boys again. And again, he came back for another attack, hurting me and all my Pikmin. Luckily, we didn't lose any though. He also decided to use his poison attack again. This one seems to be the most deadly because they all seem to run around, I get damaged and stun locked, and a lot of my Pikmin actually die from poisoning. I do manage to knock off the poison thing off his back. Unfortunately, his new favourite attack seems to be water. I also managed to knock off his flamethrower. I'm not too sure when or how, but I knocked it off. After struggling for probably more than an hour now, I gave it one last final push and attacked. And finally, the last piece fell off him. The spider was now completely powerless. I unleashed my full army onto him, mainly because he couldn't attack them back, and now it was my kill for the taking. We now had Louis. We also had all this treasure to cart back to the ship. For reasons unknown, Louis is considered treasure, even though he's only worth 10 Pokos. But finally, we get to leave the cave, safe and sound. We return to the surface for the very last time, and then we begin the final cutscene. Playing Pikmin 2 years and years later. It was fun. I had good fun. Sure, there were some bad times and stressful moments, but overall, it's a solid game. I remember playing it on the Wii and just falling in love with it. I'd thought I'd never play this game again. I thought it would just be nostalgia, or back in the day when I owned a Wii, and I had school holidays, and endless amounts of time to put into games like this. But years later, now owning a Switch, I can relive the dream. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and even throw a comment on it if you really wish to.